here.
Oh, they're ready for it. I mean, they want to be all there. We had some really good amounts of Japanese players come over for London as well,
Yes,
and that's what
yes.
happens, I think, after a couple years away, build up that anticipation. But wow, the initial response to events coming back, I mean, Pokemon Go has been exploding as well. Pokemon Go has been doing fantastic. They've got some really hype events going on. They are here with us in Baltimore. We're taking a little break on the BGC side, but Pokemon Go is still rumbling on, and they just had a really cool meta mix-up as well, so plenty of Pokemon action to check out
Yeah,
if you want some variety.
there was a huge update in the Pokemon Go metagame.
Mm-hmm.
They changed the damage output of a ton of different charged moves and fast moves, so I know that there's a lot of exciting things happening for that event this weekend. But we've got round 4 ready to go here very shortly.
Yep.
Excited to get into things. These players will both be 3-0, and getting a win in the first couple rounds is just so massive. And talk about a star-studded matchup in round number 4. We've got Isaiah Bradner on the left. Of course, second place finish this past season at the North American International Championships. He also had a top 8 finish at EUIC, a top 16 finish at the World Championship just a few months ago, and he'll be sitting across from Xander, someone who is very well known as one of the great deck builders of the game, someone who loves to innovate, loves to play off-meta stuff, things that are unexpected, and someone who's also been very successful, multiple-time regional champion, and a top 4 finish at the World Championships in 2017. Two incredibly decorated players.
Two phenomenal players, both bringing some very different decks as well. I really like how these decks match up thematically. I think a lot of people know that Xander was playing a couple of fun choices and was really believing in it towards the end of the last season, so if he's stuck with that, we could be in for a good one. But both trainers looking relaxed. Obviously a great start for both of them, but pushing on to 4-0 keeps those match points rolling in.
Yeah, each win just feels better and better as you go on. Once again, of course, these players are looking to get to a record of 6-2-1 at least in order to make it into day 2. But the more wins you can accrue in day 1, the better chance you have at making a push for top 8.
Being able to keep those points rolling once you've made the day 2 marker and keep on going just puts you in much better stead for day number 2. And as you said, it's a long old way to top 8. You've got to go through 14 rounds of Swiss. That is absolutely crazy when you think about it. It's so much more tournament than some others. And if you can make it all the way there, you've got to be feeling pretty good about this one.
We're about to see some prize cards go out. Adam, you mentioned how these decks match up well thematically. What are we going to be seeing here?
We're going to be looking at a Palkia on one side and a Dialga on the other. Origin form, both of those from Legends Arceus, where they were first revealed and where I was first introduced to them. But Origin form, Palkia and Dialga V-Star respectively in the prizes, along with a little bit of an insight into the rest of the decks. Crobat V and Mew also in there for Xander, and then another set of pieces, including, I believe, Path for the Peaks as well, over on to Isaiah's side. So the decks really are a storied pair, but very different starts from both of these trainers.
Time and space going head-to-head. Who comes out on top in this spot? It's definitely a great begin for Xander here, going first, starting that Origin form Dialga. And he's kicking things off very excellently. Has that Radiant Greninja in the deck. Concealed cards is just such an insanely strong ability, getting you through the deck, getting energies in the discard pile, which combos very well with the Metal Saucers that he plays.
Metal Saucers do, like you were talking about before with Dark Patch and the Aqua Patch as well.
Yes,
The Metal
yes.
Saucer, not a patch, but does the same thing with those metal energies. So being able to pull those back after they've been thrown away with the concealed cards, it makes a lot of sense. A Zacian V heading on down into the hand from that Quick Ball. Intrepid Sword ability that when it was first released was all over, has sort of taken a back seat now, but fits very nicely with this metal deck of Xander.
Yeah, Zacian is such a powerful card with that Intrepid Sword ability, getting you 3 more cards in your hand to end your turn. You can't keep going after you use that ability, of course, but if you do hit any metal energies, you get to attach them to your Zacian V, an incredibly powerful effect. And on a turn where you're going first, just being able to add 3 cards to your hand is incredibly powerful.
It feels great if you're able to do that. So the Zacian going with the Intrepid Sword.
And he hits an energy.
Getting the energy down. It's never a bad thing, really, being able to, as you said before the game, cheat the energy attachment requirements per turn.
Absolutely.
In the nicest way possible, not genuine cheating. Please don't get that one confused, as he's able to do it with an ability. So 1 energy down on the Dialga V, 1 down on the Zacian, and he passes over to Isaiah. Isaiah opening up with the perfect turn 1 card, the Battle VIP pass.
And Isaiah is playing an interesting tech in his list this weekend. We saw him bring it to the front of the deck. Of course, he's been playing tons of Origin Form Palkia V-Star, but this weekend choosing to pair it with a 1/1 line of the Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX. I know you guys see a lot of the Shadow Rider Calyrex in the video game. We get to see quite a bit of Ice Rider over here, though.
Oh, Ice Rider Calyrex and a Palkia is actually a well-known pairing in the video game, so I'm actually sort of at home on this one. I appreciate you guys picking this one. It just helps me out a little bit, a little bit of comfort in there. But Isaiah being quite diligent on how he plays through this deck. Battle VIP Pass is a great way to look at everything in your deck turn one. You're able to go in there and look for 2 basic Pokemon to bench them, but you also get the opportunity to do a lot of checking on what could be in your prizes. Of course, another Radiant Greninja coming down, concealed cards, getting rid of those energies, getting a little bit extra draw power will be feeling very good for either of these trainers, and a little bit of choice on what is going to be the second. There is an Origin Form Palkia V at the front of the deck, and that is going to be the second choice from the VIP Pass.
Isaiah's absolutely going to want to get some Sobble in play this turn. The way this deck functions is through the Shady Dealings abilities of both Drizzile and Inteleon. And you got to have those Sobbles in play for a turn in order to get to Drizzile. Of course, Shady Dealings has just become such a mainstay in the Pokemon TCG standard format, allowing you to search your deck for any trainer card and put them in your hand. And then once Irida came out alongside Origin Form Palkia V-Star in the Astral Radiance expansion, it really just made this engine that much stronger, since you really do just have access to pretty much everything in your entire deck. Shady Dealings get you Irida, Irida can get you the Pokemon, and of course any other item card you want.
It's a lot of support for the water types in this one, being able to really play through the deck nice and easily. Got to be feeling really good, but Isaiah's still got a little bit more to go. The scoop up net to concealed cards once again, of course, resetting that effect, immediately hitting the bench. That's going to give him 2 more cards into the hand, and maybe he'll find a little bit more of what he is looking for in this one.
Starting the Galarian Zigzagoon is always a little awkward. Its ability Headbutt Tantrum only works whenever it comes into play. Ooh, and Melody is not really a supporter that we see too often as the turn 1 supporter for this deck. It is just a one-of. It's usually used in the mid to late game to get an extra energy into play. But in this spot, it does find Isaiah a key second Battle VIP Pass.
Yeah, and immediately turning towards those Sobbles as well. Wants to set those up to become Drizziles in the following couple of turns. So there's 1. And I believe there's 2 immediately hitting the deck. So that Melanie has paid off really, really big there. Getting another energy down as well could be helpful for later on, being able to keep on with that acceleration.
And Isaiah knows that Xander's deck is one that takes a little while to get going. The Dialga V-Star, of course, having its Star Chronos V-Star power, needing 5 energy cards in order to get powered up, and then you take an extra turn away. So it's going to take a while for Xander to get to big one-hit KO numbers, so Isaiah's not going to feel super pressured to, overextend or anything like that in these spots. He will, however, grab another Origin Form Palkia V and get that into play.
Why not? You want to be able to attack with multiple of them in the game, so being able to keep those set up feels very, very nice. But a nice full bench for Isaiah here is going to be feeling really good. Got the 2 Sobbles, got the concealed cards, Radiant Greninja down, so plenty of options to keep drawing through the deck and finding all the pieces he needs. The manual attachment going on to the other Origin Form Palkia V, and that Zigzagoon just sat in the way right now.
And it will be a pass back over to Xander, who's going to kick things off. Has plenty of options here in this hand, and concealed cards will be the start.
He's going to get the Mew and the Raihan off that. So that's sort of not all of the pieces he wants, I think. I mean, maybe wants a few more metal sources, as the Mew does hit the field for him in the bench in this instance. So, being able to keep seeing cards is really good, but it's not going to be able to activate its ability unless it's in the active spot. So, certainly has to be a little bit more careful. But getting into the active spot becomes a whole lot easier as soon as that escape rope hits the field. Isaiah forced to choose something to put up into the active. That Galarian Zigzagoon going to the back, and the Radiant Greninja coming to the front as, there it is. Mew into the active can now use its ability.
It is entirely possible for Xander to get a knockout this turn. He could use a Metal Saucer and then, of course, get an energy attachment for turn and go with the Brave Blade on Zacian V, and it does deal 230 damage. So if he could combo it theoretically with a boss's orders, that could take 2 prizes this turn.
It could be a huge knockout, but going for that Mysterious Tail Didn't really get a premium item. Did get another chance at an item, though, with the trekking shoes. It was only 2 of those available in those 6. So looking at a lot of cards, but not getting all the pieces he needs. There's the trekking shoes. It's going to be, I believe that was an Ultra Ball we saw flashed at us. You know, he does have a Metal Saucer in hand. So, like you said, would need a way, though, to find another energy. He's got the boss's orders as well.
And this Ultra Ball could theoretically find a Crobat V. So I think that's what Xander is debating here. Do I take this Ultra Ball? And I think that if we're seeing it played, it's most likely going to be for Crobat. Or with the Quick Ball in hand, that could get the Crobat, and Ultra Ball could find something like that powerful V-Star.
Yep, well, there's the Quick Ball discarding Bird Keeper. So another one of those definitely some switching options in this deck. Bird Keeper able to do that, but of course the Dark Asset, Crobat V, coming into the hand right now. Probably needs to thin it a little bit. There's going to be way too many cards in there to get a really high value Dark Asset done now. But the options are there to thin it as he bosses orders right away.
Oh, he's going for this KO.
Yeah, he's going for the KO right now. The Metal Saucer down on to that Zacian. He's pulling a Origin Form Palkia V into the active. You know, wants to be able to get all the way there. And really, it's up to Xander to see how many cards he can see this turn. There's a scoop up net on to the Zacian. You know, has very thin hand now.
He just needs an energy here.
Yeah, there it is.
And there it is indeed, drawn off of the Dark Asset. Now able to take 2 prizes. You can see how powerful this Zacian V is, especially because it got that extra energy accelerated last turn.
Yep, well, the you know, the Zacian V being able to get those knockouts is really, really big, you know, particularly early doors like this. So, you know, really big turn for Xander there, being able to see so many important cards off that Dark Asset, going back through as well with another Quick Ball that he drew off that, being able to keep going. And he's got another Boss's Orders in hand as well. That's going to be really, really big. And yeah, he just takes the knockout there with the Brave Blade.
And this is getting to dangerous territory for Isaiah. He's got to navigate things very wisely and carefully here. Xander's getting very set up. A couple of Origin Form Dialga Vs in play. It is still a lot to get to find and fire off that powerful Star Chronos V-Star power, but it is not out of the realm of possibility. We did just see that energy switch hit the discard pile from Xander. Isaiah may be a little wary of that, wondering exactly how many of those are in this list.
Well, he may not need it right now because for the time being, this Zacian is doing fantastic work. Of course, this Brave Blade is going to cause a slight conundrum in this turn, in that he can't attack right now without some ability to switch things around. But as we've already seen, plenty of switching options in the deck, as it looks like Isaiah's just going to throw up the Drizzile, or the Sobble, and immediately evolve it into the Drizzile. A Shady D-Links heading on into the deck, being able to get you know, a really big card is probably needed here to try and slow things down. And
it looks like Irido is the one he pulled to the front, and this will allow him to go after that Origin Form Palkia V-Star most likely, and then also another item card. We could see a cross-switcher play potentially. Now, Isaiah does need to play the Irida off of the Shady Dealings. It looks like he's showing us, yeah, there we go.
There it is.
What he's getting has to play the Irida first, though.
Yeah, you got to play it in order, or at least make sure your opponent knows exactly what's going on. So there's the Origin Form Palkia V-Star and the Quick Ball. We do like that. The Quick Ball has already been going in the deck. Why not go back in, take another look, following up with another Origin Form Palkia V. So really needs to keep those rolling and always have 2 of them available to him.
Setting up very nicely here, and he can go for a cross-switcher play this turn. He's already played his supporter, so we won't see anything like a boss's orders, but cross-switcher can still get the gusting necessary. And I actually think I do see the 2 in hand already. Here they come, bringing up that Origin Form Dialga V with an energy on it. He wants to be aggressive after this Pokemon, using the V-Star power now, Star Portal, throwing 3 energies from the discard pile into play.
Yep, and getting them down onto the Palkia, making sure that everything's ready to attack as needed. And it's going to be a follow-up with the Origin Form Palkia V-Star, getting that damage down and getting an immediate return knockout onto the Dialga V. So both these trainers trading blows, but at the end of the day, I mean, Xander still took the first pair of prizes, now has to choose what to promote in this turn.
Now, Xander is holding on to the boss's orders, so if he wants it, he's got the boss KO on the Origin Form Palkia V. Take 2 prizes right now. The problem with that, though, is it's not dealing with this active V-Star. He's got to come up with a game plan that'll involve getting a lot of energies onto an Origin Form Dialga V-Star and powering that up for a big attack.
Yeah, and the big thing here as well is, Xander's gone really wide with his board too. He needs all the pieces. He doesn't want to be shy about that. So the subspace as well has been feeling pretty good. But now the focus, I think, for Xander, yes, this turn you'd be able to get the knockout with the Zacian V, but you've got to start planning ahead for this huge Origin Form Dialga V-Star play with a potential Star Chronos and Metal Blast option as well. I mean, the Metal Blast is going to be doing huge damage as well. There's the Raihan from Xander there, so getting a number of options down, being able to attach that energy, and then, of course, go into the deck and take a look and grab a card that you want.
So no Boss's Orders plays this turn, and I think we're going to see something pretty spicy here from Xander. This is what I was talking about with the innovation that he can bring. He's eyeing up a Shuppet. He plays a 1/1 line of Banette with that Curse of Devolution ability. When you play this Pokemon from your hands to evolve one of your Pokemon, you may devolve one of your opponent's benched evolved Pokemon and put that highest stage evolution card into their hand. So what Xander could potentially do this turn is hit this active for 230 damage, and then next turn send it to the bench with an Escape Rope or a Boss's Orders and use this Banette to take 2 prizes.
That is very cheeky. If he can get that play off, it is going to be absolutely audacious because there's no easy way for healing here as well. So, Xander playing multiple options in this deck on how he can take the prizes. Because if the damage sticks, 230 is a lot of damage, and it's enough, as we've already seen, to knock out an Origin Form Palkia V. So, Xander just kind of working through this turn. There's going to be the Scoop Up Net on Radiant. Greninja, doesn't want to be just leaving that down right now. But, just doing the math, I think, in his head, as, Brave Blade will just target in to this Origin Form Palkia.
So holding off on the Shuppet play here, it is a little risky to put it into play since it makes it now a target for Isaiah to go after. So I think what Xander's general strategy with this most likely is on the turn he's planning to use Star Chronos, put the Shuppet in play. You get to take an extra turn from your opponent, and then that's the turn that you can drop the Banette, surprise them, and take a multi-prize turn, or, get a V-Star devolved so that it's much easier for your Origin Form Dialga to KO.
He's a long way away from that play with the Origin Form Dialga.
Only one energy,
Yeah,
right?
He's got a lot of energy to get through to try and get there. And while I see that as a potential out, I do worry that it's maybe too far away to be able to make this full play. He is, of course, trying to deal as much damage as possible. The damage is already there if he can use that Curse of Devolution. But, like you said, there's so much distance to go. Isaiah, trying to find some evolutions here. These are really big and really easy to go with.
Isaiah now playing the Evolution Incense, grabbing a Evolution Pokemon, likely going to be an Inteleon with that Shady Dealings. Drizzile's already good enough, getting you 1 trainer card. How about Inteleon fetching you 2?
Hey, that's even better. It's a superior Shady Dealings.
Super Shady Dealings, in fact.
I mean, they should have renamed it properly. That's just my opinion. But, you can keep things going. If you maybe find your way into another Drizzile, that's going to be another option for him there. So plenty of ways to play through this one. And I do think the best players with the Shady Dealings have been the ones capitalizing so much. There's another Irida that we see come down. It looks like another pull of the Palkia V, so being aware of potential Boss's Orders play there is pretty big.
And we can see Isaiah is really thinking very hard here. These guys work together quite a bit whenever it comes to testing and preparing for events, so I would imagine Isaiah is probably aware of the Banette in Xander's deck. He probably knows that it is around, and that's why he's having to think so hard. Is there anything I can really do about this, or do I just kind of have to play and hope that maybe he doesn't hit all of those pieces? There's no disruption from Isaiah's side, the only one being Roxanne, which can only be played once your opponent has taken at least 3 prizes. There's nothing like Marnie or anything like that for him in this spot. So it's just going to kind of be up to if Xander can pull off his crazy combo or not. And it is possible to pull off Star Chronos next turn. He's only down 1 Metal Saucer. So if he can find all 3 of the other Metal Saucers plus attach return, that is the 5 energy necessary to pull off that powerful V-Star attack.
Yeah, you just got to hit all the Metal Sources. It's easy.
Simple enough, right?
Yeah, just dig through your deck, hit all the Metal Sources, and make sure all the energy's in, and problem solved. The other thing as well is he may have a little bit more time to get there. Something that Xander did in the previous turn where he managed to scoop up net. Of course, that Radiant Greninja did get him off to a good start, but wasn't really paying off for him anymore. So limiting the damage output, down to just 8 bench Pokemon
Very
total,
smart.
220, that's not enough. But, 230 just sitting there, but the Echoing Horn is going to be able to tick him over to that 240, forcing that Dialga V back onto the bench.
And what this does as well is it makes things much more awkward for Xander in future turns because he's not going to have bench space for another Mew or Crobat or Lumineon, any of these other powerful Pokemon he'd like to put in play to get through the deck more efficiently on the next turn. He's going to have a harder time doing so.
That's really, really good play there for Isaiah, hitting exactly the card he needed to be able to secure the knockout without requiring one of these choice belts. So we just saw fly across the screen a little bit.
Does have the boss's orders in hand, grabbing that off Shady Dealings, prepping for the next turn. Of course, did already play Irida here and puts Path to the Peak in play, takes the KO. And it'll be on to Xander Perot. Can he find everything necessary? Having that Temple of Sinnoh in hand is a decent start. That means you will be able to access your rule box Pokemon abilities like the Crobat. But this Dialga V being in play is now really clogging up the bench.
It's certainly a problem, and Echoing Horn makes so much sense in these decks. Of course, that is now going to become another Dialga V star, so maybe just trying to buy some time by increasing its health pool there a little bit, being able to take some more. Temple of Sinnoh lands on the board right away, though, so that Path to the Peak isn't going to be causing too many problems. And the Radiant Greninja comes back. Oh, it could be coming back. There it is.
And concealed cards will ditch an energy, draw a couple. There's a Trekking Shoes and an energy to attach for turn. Discarding the energy search isn't too bad. Lots of ways for Xander to get through the deck. And Xander does not play any disruption. No Marnie, Roxanne, or anything like that. And Isaiah did just grab boss's orders. So we know that Isaiah's got the game lined up on the next turn. All he has to do to take his final two prizes is play boss's orders, bring up that Crobat V, and take the knockout. So it is all in on this turn for Xander Perot. He has to pull off the Star Chronos V-Star power.
Yeah, it has to be hit, and I just don't know if he's going to be able to do that. Now he can be completely liberal, just going through with these Mews, trying to find all the items. There's another Metal Saucer.
Okay.
The Hisuian Heavy Ball actually going to be chosen for him there. So, trying to keep on going and see what he can find in the prizes, making sure that he can grab
his second Crobat.
Yes. Yeah, the Crobat was put in those prizes earlier, and that's going to be, it's going to be a full bench, but he's going to see all his cards, as many cards as he can in this turn. He does have to probably thin it out a little bit. The Hisuian Heavy Ball going back down. We'll take another look at the prizes for Xander. The Quick Ball, the Mew in there again. Looks like it's going to be a quick fail on the Ultra Ball there.
Just thinning the hand down here, wants to thin down so he can draw as much as possible with the Dark Asset. And he really does need a lot off of these 4 cards. It is looking bleak for Xander Perot, but he is definitely not out of it.
Yeah, there's the manual attachment and a Crobat, the Dark Asset for 5. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, there's not any other metal sources there. No more switching options either. No more ropes. He's holding onto that boss's orders. The Bird Keeper would have to be an option here, to get that Mew out. And it's just not looking good. Yeah, there's the 3. There is another Metal Saucer, but, how are you going to get all of these Pokemon out of the way? The Air Balloon would be an option, but still think it's a little bit too far to go. There's not enough Metal Sources available.
And Xander realizes he can't quite do it, just has to scoop it up. Well played by Isaiah Bradner. Xander couldn't quite pull his combo off, and Isaiah will go up 1-0 here in round 4.
Yeah, and being able to withstand and avoid that situation is absolutely huge. I mean, it was a pretty explosive start, I think, for Xander too, being able to take those 2 prizes nice and early with that massive Brave Blade, going right on into taking up on those Palkias was fine. Isaiah said, you know what, I still have more Palkia V. I'm just going to keep putting them down, I'm going to keep powering them up, and then I'm going to start taking the knockouts. And being able to counter that play with the Echoing Horn, where Xander cut him down to just 220 damage, yes, there were, of course, ways Isaiah could have done it, but the Echoing Horn's just easier, and you can save that for later.
The big turn for me in that game was on Isaiah's second turn of the game, whenever he played the Cross Switchers and knocked out the Dialga V that had 1 energy on it, because going down that 1 energy attachment kept Xander 1 additional turn away from getting the 5 energy necessary to use his V-Star power. So that was really well played by Isaiah, recognizing, hey, I need to target this down. I don't care about this Zacian V in the active. It can have its 3 energy as long as those energy cards are not on a threatening Origin Form Dialga V-Star.
There was a lot of commitment to, of course, that you know, 3 energy down there early, and not getting knocked out super early means they weren't always in there. I mean, Xander did a great job of making sure that there were energy in the discard. The concealed cards is very, very important. And here are the prizes coming through. Boss's Orders, Irida, Battle VIP Pass, the Scoop Up Net, that impactful echoing horn hitting the prizes for Isaiah right at the top there, as well as Origin Form Palkia V sits up there. So pretty mixed bag for him there. But that echoing horn was absolutely massive in the last game, so something to track going into this game too.
And he will get an extra card to work with as well, as it looks like Xander has mulliganed here, opened up with 7 cards. No basic. You, of course, need a basic Pokemon to get started in a game of the Pokemon TCG. And Xander's moving pretty quickly here. He knows if he wants to win this set, he's got to win 2 games now. And though Dialga may be the ruler of time, time is not on Xander's side at this point.
Not at all, and looks like he's going to keep on shuffling as well, so needs to get this game going. Isaiah looking pretty comfortable. He's got himself a basic nice and early. This deck does play a lot of them though, so it's pretty easy to hit, and a slightly lower count on Xander's side means we're going to keep on going. Here comes 7 cards, and let's see if there's any basic in there for him. Quick fan of the hand, there is a basic. It's just throwing it down to begin this one.
He's ready to get things going. Let's check these prizes. One of his 2 Dialgas and 2 scoop-up nets. That could be really awkward. He loves to use these scoop-up nets to reuse Mews and get through the deck with multiple shady dealings and multiple concealed cards.
Oh, well, the other 2 scoop-up nets are in his hand too.
Gosh.
So he's relying really heavily on this Mew to be able to, you know, put in a lot of work. He's going to be able to, you know, keep on going with that mysterious tail. Looks at the top 6 cards of his deck, finds an item. In this case, it's going to be the trekking shoes that he wants to take off this one. But you can see Xander's play is already sped up very, very promptly. Needs to get through this game, you know, needs to find the full combo, which does take a little bit of time to get to, and then take us to a game 3. So, you know, needs to try and find one of those explosive starts. There's the trekking shoes for another trekking shoes. And he's going to take the Pokemon off here, which is the Radiant Greninja. Makes a lot of sense. Keep on trucking with those concealed cards. There's draw 2. It's a Raihan and a Metal Energy. But, you know, he's going to have his first deck search now. This quick ball coming into hand. This is going to be really, really impactful. There is going to be a need for him to find some options. Hisuian Heavy Ball will give it away too.
No shot.
And you can hear Xander kind of saying, there's got to be something. Isaiah's saying, no way, man. But sure enough, there is the Origin Form Dialga.
Yeah.
One of the Pokemon I think Xander would love to have seen there in the prizes when he knows he's got the Hisuian Heavy Ball.
Yeah, and that all goes back down, of course. Still knows now about the 2 scoop-up nets, so maybe has to be a little bit more cautious with some of these Mews, as one of them is discarded with that quick ball. So hitting the discard, and there's that Zacian V. Once again, Xander's going first, so would be able to activate Intrepid Sword and maybe set himself up for another, you know, knockout turn 2. He just needs to follow up a little bit better this time.
And what's interesting, too, is that before the Hisuian Heavy Ball, Xander was debating quick balling away a scoop-up net. He looked at those prize cards and quickly changed his mind and said, I'll quick ball away this Mew instead.
Yeah, that's actually really good use of the Hisuian Heavy Ball to be able to see exactly what's there. And 3 more cards off the Intrepid Sword. No more energy, though. So no immediate knockouts coming through on turn number 2 for this Zacian V with the Brave Blade.
Yeah, much more difficult if he wanted to go for a play like that, and it would mean expending much more resources to use multiple Metal Saucers, which is less Metal Saucers for your Dialga, which is really where you want those energies to be going.
Hey, even if they were in their last game, he wasn't able to get there. But we are over on Isaiah's turn, opening up with the Capacious Bucket, going in and getting 2 of those water energies, and also being able to take a look through while you're in there. Absolutely huge use of all of these. You can see him doing some Pokemon counts, maybe a couple counts of supporters as well, trying to be just aware of what's going on in this one.
Yeah, every single one of Isaiah's games that he's been on the stream, he always takes his time to check his prize cards. Really important to gain that information on your first deck search or as early as possible.
Well,
know whether or not that Hisuian Heavy Ball is a live play, and he checked and saw there is a Palkia prized. I can play this Heavy Ball, and now I'll just check my other prizes and get this Palkia into play.
As soon as you know that the you know, the Pokemon is there, why not Hisuian Heavy Ball? You get to look. It's honestly easier to look at all 6 than do the calculation of minusing everything as you go through the deck search.
Yep.
But yeah, confirmation of exactly what's in there. The Echoing Horn, of course, the positions do change, and that could be absolutely huge as the Echoing Horn and Iridia are down on the bottom where most people draw through.
Yeah, and previously the Echoing Horn was at the top, so now it's more likely going to be something Isaiah's going to have access to, as Quick Ball will grab that Radiant Greninja We have seen from both of these decks just how valuable and useful this card is.
Yeah, and we know there's going to be a Water Energy in the hand immediately for concealed cards. There's going to be even more Water Energy in the hand as a Capacious Bucket comes through once again for Isaiah. So filling his hand with Water Energy, plenty of options for the concealed cards in the next few turns, and of course weaving in those manual attachments as well. So a really good opening turn for his deck. Looks like they're just going into the hand. Yep, there's the first one. Concealed cards, draw 2.
And he can always end this turn as well with a Keep Calling on the Sobble. Grab a bunch of other Sobbles out of the deck, bring the squad into play. And before he does that, though, can utilize the Irida. This could even set up your hand really well for the next turn, potentially getting an evolution Pokemon, or you could just fill the board up all the way here with Battle VIP Pass and getting a basic Pokemon from the Irida. Yeah,
it feels pretty solid, being able to set up, of course, for the Palkia and the Subspace Swell later on, but also make sure your board's nice and set with all the tools you need. So yeah, there's the Battle VIP Pass coming into play. Looks like he's going to be just in the deck, grabbing all the pieces he needs. He now gets 2 basic Pokemon and a water Pokemon, and there, of course, is going to be the Palkia, and that's going to be one of the options as Battle VIP Pass comes through right away.
And this will probably just get the 2 Sobbles out of the deck now. And this is going to work out nicely here for Isaiah. Instead of having to commit an attachment to turn to use Keep Calling on the Sobble, he can put an energy onto a Palkia, making it just an energy attachment away from attacking on the next turn.
Yeah, if you don't need to keep calling, then you're feeling a whole lot better. And you know that he's got Water Energy in the hand as well. So I've got to be feeling pretty good about that one. Still deliberating a little bit on the second Pokemon choice. Don't blame him, but I think it just has to be a Sobble.
Yeah, really looking through here, maybe just wanting to make sure he knows exactly what he's got access to, and he does go with the second Origin Form Palkia V.
It's actually the third. He's got all 3 on the bench, you know, but that Sobble, you know, maybe feeling like he's going to be able to retreat that quite safely and still have access to 2 Shady D-Lings, being able to play some plays enough around there. Going in again with the Quick Ball as another Sobble is going to be hitting that hand. So yeah, maybe just assuming that Sobble gets knocked out and then is going to be able to immediately replace it. But I don't know if the threat of it getting knocked out is there right yet.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot more for Xander. I mean, he could go with the Origin Form Dialga V-Star's first attack, dealing 40 damage for each Metal Energy attached to it. That could be the option here for Xander on the next turn to at least take 1 prize card with the Metal Blast.
Nothing wrong with that. Prizes all add up here, but then you're going to get things a little bit awkward, I think, with the multiple prize game.
Right.
You know, looks like both trainers taking their time, and Energy Search comes through for Xander Perrault. Nice way to start off his turn, because he was lacking a little bit in the energy, you know.
Yeah, getting that extra energy into hand. This can be attached for turn, or most likely just used with the concealed cards. Get a couple more.
Yep.
And if nothing else, it gets energy out of the deck, so now that's 1 less energy you could possibly hit off your Mysterious Tail.
Yeah, that's you know, definitely helpful when you need to hit as many cards as possible. And maybe it's Xander being a little bit cautious about being able to fill the bench, because some of those numbers become very, very attainable if you do just completely fill the bench. Being able to hit for 260 is certainly something that Isaiah would be very appreciative of, I think.
So Ultra Ball is the grab off of Mysterious Tail. It looks like this can get any Pokemon out of the deck, and it'll also thin the hand down. We do see Crobat V is ready to go for Xander, but his hand is pretty large, so he's going to need to pare that down quite a bit if he wants to get good value out of Dark Asset.
His hand's also got that, you know, that Shuppet and Banette combo in it, and he would love to hold on to that. But being stuck with them in hand is not exactly where they want to be. You want them in the deck and available for later. So going with a little bit more of a draw with the concealed cards. There's the Evolution on the Dialga V, and a Scoop Up Net puts that into the active. So yeah, Metal Blast probably going to be an option for him here, being able to just get an easy knockout there on the rather low health Sobble. But Boss's orders means he's going to pull up one of these Palkias and just maybe try and slow things down. Not one of the ones with the energy either.
And this is interesting. I think what Xander is doing with this play is hoping that maybe Isaiah will have to V-Star this active, evolve it, so it's easier for him to Star Chronos it in a future turn, or it makes it easier for it to be 2-hit KO'd with a Metal Blast. And Xander has picked up a bunch of Pokemon off of his field now, so it is going to be much more difficult for Isaiah to get there as far as the damage output necessary to take a 1-hit knockout here, especially without access to that Echoing Horn. It's probably just not happening.
I don't think there's any chance you're going to be able to get there. I mean, we've got 5 on Azaya's side, 2 on Xander's side, so 200 damage. Not enough modifiers are going to be able to get you up to 280 damage there. So Xander playing it very wisely. I know in previous years, you know, when decks always rely on the bench size, it's easy. Just don't bench Pokemon against them, and you got to be feeling pretty good when you can get away with that.
So no Echoing Horn, and no way that a bunch of Zigzagoon plus Choice Belt plays are happening here for Isaiah. So it's definitely not going to happen. And we do see that Origin Form Dialga. Yeah, once again, Isaiah, we got to play the Irida in order to get it out of the deck first. So.
Yep. Let's just keep this one clear. I mean, we all know what's going on. There's the Irida, though, grabbing the Evolution Incense, and, of course, the V-Star. So this Palkia V is going to be...
I think he played the Evolution Incense out of the... Oh, no, okay. He showed what he got with it. Okay, I understand now.
So, yeah, he goes and gets it. Evolving that one that took a little bit of damage. It's going to be even harder to knock out, both at 280 as well. Could, of course, grab another Drizzile, maybe. Would be good with that. As the Water Attachment goes on to the first Drizzile, the first one that he was able to evolve. Of course, getting all 3 down with that play earlier, the Scoop Up Net, getting rid of that Radiant Greninja after it had done its turn. Yep, there it is, the Star Portal coming through, getting a lot of energy out onto the board. But he does have the damage, or the energy, to use Subspace Swell in this turn.
And with the energy prepped on the Drizzile and the Evolution Incense grabbed to hand, we could see the Aqua Bullet be a one-prize attacker to try to take this KO on the Origin Form Dialga next turn, which would mess up Xander's prize trade, which is something Isaiah would love to try to take advantage of if he can.
Oh, definitely. And that's 200 damage just sitting there on the Origin Form Dialga. Only 80 required. It's not that hard to get with a number of options in this deck. You know, even if you manage to keep your bench super tiny, I still think Isaiah's going to be able to find that damage pretty early on. So a huge hand here for Xander is something that he really has to consider. And, you know, this is one of those V-Stars that's not going to be able to make the play, not going to be able to get away with, you know, being able to even consider the Star Chronos. You're still 4 energy shy.
So Xander in this spot is definitely looking to just attack with 2 Origin Form Dialga V-Star in this game. Zacian's kind of been abandoned as a plan. It's really only useful in this deck, it feels like, when you hit an energy and can be really aggressive with it on turn number 2. In this spot, going to play the long game and hope to set up for a big, powerful Star Chronos play. And I think Xander's path to victory this game is definitely going to involve utilizing that Shuppet and Banette combo in order to devolve one of Isaiah's Pokemon.
Yep, and there's the second Origin Form Dialga getting set up. So yes, it's only swinging for 80 right now, or will do when it's evolved, but it's still a little bit far, and it looks like he's just going for the Intrepid Sword. You know, looking at the hand here, the energy is going to get attached onto that Zacian, but no attack, giving up entirely onto this. That said, that's a lot of metal sources that he's got in his hand right now.
A ton, and I think the reason we're seeing Xander put this energy in play on the Zacian is not because he's intending to attack with Intrepid Sword, but because it puts another energy in play, and he does play the 1 copy of Energy Switch. So now that it's here in play, he can move it around if he finds that Energy Switch, and then really create a big Metal Blast or Star Chronos attack.
Yeah, there's a lot of options here for Xander, but he needs to get through this turn. I mean, no prizes have been taken just yet, but this Origin Form Palkia is very much set up and ready to go. I think both these decks swing very, very nicely into each other. It's thematically correct, and just going to be able to take a knockout here with a Subspace Swell would, of course, set the ball rolling for Isaiah and put the pressure on Xander to play catch-up a little bit.
So Xander did not reveal the Banette in Game 1, but in one of his mulligans, he did reveal the Banette. And Isaiah did look at it really quickly. It's definitely something he's aware of that he knows is in this deck, so it's not going to be something that catches him off guard. So I think what Isaiah would really like to do this turn is evolve both of these benched Origin Form Palkia Vs into V-Stars to make it as hard as possible for Xander to pull off some crazy play by devolving and making something wild happen.
Yep, and being able to go in with the Inteleon and its Shady Dealings certainly helps out. Once again, here's the Irida being able to get taken up by the Shady Dealings and a cross switcher as well. So the Irida's now you know, going in the deck, pulling another cross switcher and of course another Drizzile. The Drizzile then is able to go and grab another trainer with the Shady Dealings. That's going to be the Scoop Up Net, and yeah, the cross switcher is going to pull up that Origin Form Dialga, the one that was going to be set up for the big play late on. and that is going to be way easier to knock out. It's not even the V-Star yet. Inteleon goes to the active, though, gets immediately scoop up netted. We love to see that one, able to recycle a lot of those. Still a lot of Pokemon left to go through on these turns. Evolution Incense grabs the Palkia V-Star, only needing one more energy to be able to get that subspace swell off, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be able to get there.
And this is going to make things really tough, this play from Isaiah. It is going to make things much tougher for Xander moving forward. I think what he was really hoping to do was attack with this Origin Form Dialga that has a bunch of damage on it until it goes down, and then have a clean Origin Form Dialga V-Star with no damage on it, use the scoop up nets off of the prizes potentially, pick a bunch of Pokemon up, and then make it so that it's really difficult for Isaiah to find his final KO. Now that's really not going to be an option, since Isaiah was able to pull off the powerful cross-switcher play and take out that V Pokemon before it was able to V-Star.
Well, there's the energy search off the Mysterious Tail. He immediately grabs an energy with it as well. But, you know, there's not another Dialga V ready to go in this one. You'd have to put a lot of pressure on the, you know, the existing Dialga, which is really heavily damaged.
Triple Metal Saucer.
Metal Saucer grabs a bunch of pieces that he needs. He's only one energy away, I believe, from that Star Chronos.
I think this is going to be the turn here, Adam. We're going to see Xander send up this Dialga, go for the Star Chronos, hit for 220 damage into this Origin Form Palkia, and bench the Shuppet this turn. Put it down, and then on his second turn in a row, use a boss's orders, bring something else up, use the Shuppet, devolve, use the Banette, devolve this Origin Form Palkia that's going to take the hit, and here it comes. The most excited I've ever been to see a Shuppet come into play.
It's definitely not something you see very often, but he's grabbed it with the Quick Ball right there. This is a really big, important sequence for him to play. So he Shuppets, he Crobats for the Dark Asset, able to draw 4 cards as soon as Isaiah's done with his deck. There's a Quick Ball, another Crobat, a Trekking Shoes, and an Air Balloon. Trekking Shoes, he's going to take a look. He's going to take it, but he's not going to let us know what it is. It is going to be another Metal Energy in the back of his hand there. And so the sequence is about to go off. This is his way back in the game.
And what's massive as well is Isaiah was unable to evolve that other Origin Form Palkia V. So what Xander can do here, he hasn't even played a supporter yet. He can Raihan to get an extra energy in play. He can set up for a boss's orders play and try to bring up this Palkia that has not evolved yet on the next turn, take it out much easier, and then this Origin Form Palkia V-Star on the bench has a bunch of damage on it already. It's really looking like Xander's pulling the pieces together here to win this game.
Yeah, being able to you know, get a huge amount of damage down in 2 turns, and you know, all the pieces are available. That Raihan sets you up. You're guaranteed to be able to keep those on because the Star Chronos allows you to take another turn. So
here it
there it is. That's going to be damage down onto this fully evolved one. But how long is it going to stick in that form?
Not long at all. Boss's orders can now bring this other Palkia up.
Yep, and there's the evolution. So as soon as it evolves, the damage that is sticking on there is way too much, and or just enough, and it's going to get knocked out. That said, you know, the slightly weaker Origin Form Palkia V, not even the V-Star, has been thrown into the active and is staring down a Dialga V-Star with a massive Metal Burst incoming.
And Xander can almost set up a checkmate scenario here, I feel like, by taking the knockout here on the active Palkia and then getting an energy onto the Zacian on the bench. You can easily knock out the only attacker that Isaiah has powered up, since it's already got 80 damage on it.
Yeah, so he's going to be able to probably tidy it up. Not much time left in the round, though. It looks like Isaiah just really enjoying being able to go through the options here. Yeah, the Air Balloon and the Mew goes down, so he's got a nice pivot option, and the Metal Blast is more than enough to get the knockout there with a huge amount of energy in play. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on his Dialga, 6, 7, 8 over when you include the Zacian as well. So, yeah, more than enough for a knockout there.
And Isaiah's probably sitting there wondering, how did we get to this point? I just took 2 prizes. My opponent had 6. And then now the next time I draw a card, my opponent only has 2 prize cards left and 2 fully powered up Pokemon. What am I supposed to do here?
The joy of Dialga. Being able to take turns is something that it's multiple turns back to back, something that's chronologically done. And Isaiah, very wisely understanding the writings on the wall. Of course, Xander was in his deck last turn with the Raihan. So, you know what? It doesn't really matter that, you know, if he doesn't have any disruption, he's guaranteed to have probably pulled the game. And good respect between the players. All smiles for both of these trainers as they go into game 3 with not a lot of time left on the clock.
And Xander, I know, is incredibly excited to have pulled that combo off, that Bennett piece. And this is what makes it so fun to watch some of the top players when it comes to metagaming and deck building, and especially someone like Xander, who has played almost nothing but this deck for this entire format. Always has been looking for ways to innovate and change and adapt to the meta, and he's finally found this Bennett, a key piece to the puzzle in order to get extra knockouts where you really feel like you would have a hard time if your opponent just puts a bunch of V-Star Pokemon in play.
Is Xander a big Bennett fan? I believe Bennett was in his Worlds deck a few years ago. Is it like his favorite Pokemon or something?
No, not quite. He did play a Psychic deck at Worlds, but... Yeah. Oh, no, he did play a Bennett GX
the
deck.
Bennett
You're
GX.
right. Yes. I was thinking of the year he got top 4 in 2017. He was playing a Espeon Garbodor deck, and then the year after, in 2018, he did indeed play a Bennett GX, so could be a fan of it without a doubt.
Could be a big fan. But anyway, the prizes are down. A Palkia V-Star and V in there for Isaiah. Across switcher, boss's orders, a Sobble and a Water Energy. One of those metal sources in there, though, for Xander not being able to pull off that madness of a turn. 3 metal sources was, I'll be honest, it was greedy, Chip.
It's exactly what he needed, though, and he pulled off the play and assembled his combo to perfection. And seeing that Metal Saucer in the prize cards is definitely really unfortunate for Xander. It's probably the most important resource in this entire deck, to be honest, because that is how you get the extra energies into play for the massive energy requirements of your Dialga. 5
energy is a lot of energy to hit, and being able to swing that in a turn is absolutely crazy there. So a lot being done there by Xander to show the full power of the deck, and when it comes together, what it can do. A quick concealed cards for Isaiah Bradner. Discount that Water Energy, drawing 2. Makes a lot of sense. He's just going to keep on going. The Manaphy being discarded with that quick ball, going in to grab another basic, another Sobble, coming right to the front there, but checking everything in that deck. So being able to count up your Palkias, Palkia V-Stars, your Sobbles, Inteleons, Drizziles. I don't know why I said that one out of order, but we'll let that one slide. Then the Palkia V.
Hey, listen, you called yourself out on that one.
Yeah, I caught myself when you said anything. The Palkia V going down with the level ball being able to very easily get that Sobble and a quick pass over to Xander, I believe. So yeah, both these trainers really desperate to find these knockouts quickly. I think they must both be aware of roughly where the timer is.
I think really the only thing Isaiah was missing that turn is the energy attachment, but it's not that big of a deal with this deck since you can just get a bunch of energies in play with your Star Portal V-Star power. Now, this is the first time in this matchup that we've seen Isaiah go first, and that really does put a lot of pressure now on Xander's turn because of how aggressive Isaiah can be. Now, we know that his 1 copy of Boss's Orders is prized, and we know he's also prized one of his cross-switchers, so it's going to make things maybe a little bit more awkward for Isaiah to be aggressive and take a 2-prize KO next turn, but that is what the Origin Form Palkia deck is known for. High aggression in the early game, taking 2-prize KOs before you're able to evolve into your V-Star Pokemon.
And, you know, he's going to be able to try and shut down Xander really easily, and Xander has this, like, awkward choice of what do you do bench-wise? You want so many bench pieces down, but you don't want to be handing over free damage with subspace swell. Right. So that certainly helps out. But Xander, once again, both these trainers so keen on the Radiant Greninja. Making sure they always have access to it is absolutely essential, I think, for both these decks. It's great for Xander because he gets to throw basic metal energy into the discard, which is important for his metal sources. And Isaiah feels pretty good about throwing it in there as well. There's the Radiant Greninja, and guess what follows it up? Concealed cards right away. The metal energy hitting the discard for 2. A Bird Keeper, and the V-Star, not the piece he needs. I think there's some more digging needed to be done by Xander here.
Neither of those cards was really good. He's already got a Bird Keeper in hand, and that is definitely his ideal supporter this turn. So drawing a second one really just doesn't aid his setup here.
Yeah, he's got a Quick Ball in this 6, though. Quick Ball and Trekking Shoes are the options. Yeah, I think you have to go the Quick Ball here. And a lot of cards to get down to a potentially, impactful dark asset. The Quick Ball, though, will help him thin a little bit, and that could be absolutely huge. But then, of course, if you Bird Keeper, guess what? You're just drawing up more cards.
Right. I mean, it's really crazy how many cards this deck is able to draw through. Xander's going to start by Bird Keepering now, so going to be a little ways away from setting up with the Dark Asset, but does find a bunch of useful item cards here. Energy Search and a couple of Scoop Up Nets, it looked like.
Yeah, the Energy Search coming right through to get another one of those metal energies. With a Scoop Up Net, could play another concealed cards and keep on drawing through this deck, scooping it up, putting it back down, and reactivating that ability. Could do the same with the Mysterious Tail, potentially, as well, depending on how he sequences this turn. Could be a lot of looking through his deck, but he definitely wants to start digging in for some Pokemon with something like the Quick Ball.
What makes things awkward here as well is that Xander really, well, only hits one option here off of that Mysterious Tail. But what Xander would really like to do here is get 2 Dialgas down and his Zacian, because he needs to Intrepid Sword to fill the hand up, maybe get an extra energy card into play. And he also needs to get down 2 Dialga, because if only one comes into play, it's an easy target in theory for Isaiah to chase down.
Yeah, it's something that he doesn't know, of course, that Isaiah is missing these pieces, so he does have to be smart and get both of these Dialga V down. One of them's going to be caught off this Quick Ball, and there's another one in there as he announces he's going back in. Quick Ball number 2, just deciding what to discard for it.
Yeah, I'm wondering if this means we're not going to see the Zacian, or is he just going to bank on hoping that he has to get lucky to win this one and go with the Intrepid Sword anyway. But no, it will be that second Origin Form Dialga. Means we're likely not going to see an Intrepid Sword for the first time this set.
Yeah, that's been big for Xander. I think in both games, it got him off to a flying start, and it really helped him set up for a little bit later in that previous game. So even though it's 1-1, Intrepid Sword has been very, very useful. The Metal Energy deciding where to put it in this turn is going to be a tough one as he passes it over, maybe allowing himself to retreat a little bit later, even though he has the Air Balloon in hand. But right back over to Isaiah, who's got a pretty good start to this turn. Evolution Incense to keep things going. There's a Drizzile, and you can just keep on digging through the deck. That Drizzile's going to go grab the Irida, and then, yeah, we've seen how this one works. He's able to grab some key components that he wants. A Cross Switcher coming in for the choice of item, and a Quick Ball as well.
Oh, that doesn't work. He has to get a water Pokemon and an item. He can't get 2 item cards, right? So, yeah, Xander's catching this here.
Xander's calling this one.
No, that's, yeah, he did grab the Quick Ball in the...
Okay, so he's going for a separate play. All right.
Yeah, I'm a little confused exactly what happened there, but it looks like the players are on board with what happened. So I think we're just seeing the Quick Ball grab the Crobat V, and Isaiah's going to be digging for...
Oh, now he's using the cards from the Irida, yes.
So we will see Cross Switcher. There's the Origin Form Palkia V-Star in the active. Isaiah's really picked up his pace of play here, because he knows that he has a chance to win this game, and he knows that time is winding down. Only 2.5 minutes left. We'll see Scoop Up Net utilize Drizzile's second Shady Dealings of the turn. Yeah, Evolution Incense is the choice, it looks like.
Yeah, he's able to keep on rattling through that deck. So a lot of pieces played here. I mean, would be able to maybe grab another one of the V-Stars, keep those set up, or a Drizzile for the next turn as well if he wants to play it that way. So there's the Evolution Incense. There's the second V-Star, making sure he can keep the ball rolling and being able to swing for the knockout here. I mean, the bench is sat at 8 across both of them. That is going to be 220 damage exactly. So Palkia using its V-Star power. There's the energy going down. There's only 2 available to him, I think. Path to the Peak to lock it out too. There's one from the hand. And yeah, he's just going to be able to take a knockout.
He's playing so quickly here.
Well, he knows he's going to need to do it. I mean, depending on where time gets called exactly, each turn is going to be required to be a knockout. So Isaiah's going to be taking this one dangerously close to the end. But, Xander's got to fight back, or at least stall this one out, I think. I think after losing that knockout, I don't know if there's an easy way for him to find the knockouts. He's not looking at enough time to make the big Dialga play, if I'm honest.
It's going to be hard. Xander did wisely choose to put the Metal Energy on the Greninja last turn, which might look a little awkward and weird to some people. Obviously, Greninja needs water energies in order to attack, and Xander only plays Metal Energies. But his decision to do that was based on the fact that he knows Isaiah wants to target down one of these Dialga. So if he puts an energy on a Dialga, it's an easy choice of what to go after with a cross-switcher play. Now that the energy's been put on the Radiant Greninja, it can be brought over to the Dialga via the energy switch that he does play.
Yeah, well, there's the right hand to fire back.
It's actually possible to see a Star Chronos this turn.
It's going to be a stretch. There's the training core as well, but it is possible. Let's not rule it out, Chip. Let's see if we can get there. As you know, these turns have been flying through from both of these trainers. There is the energy on board. Maybe the energy switch is the huge piece. There's the Scoop Up Net. So the Radiant Greninja heading into the active Air Balloon on that. Air Balloon means it's going to be able to get bounced back to the bench. There is the Mew back in there, the mysterious tail ability. There's looks like, he's having a look.
He's playing quickly.
He's playing fast. I mean, both these trainers being very respectful of the clock. And there's the Metal Saucer, so the Star Chronos coming back, maybe an option. There are certainly ways to play this one. The big thing as well, I mean, you've done the manual retreat already with the air balloon, but you do have the escape rope in hand as well, and that would throw another Pokemon in there with something like that. He's going to be going through, continuing to go on. Yeah, there's the concealed cards. Draw 2, an Ultra Ball,
That's huge.
Would be able to maybe grab something important for filling up the hand. As Xander's figuring this one out. We are at time in the round, I believe. So yeah, these trainers just working through this deck. There's the Ultra Ball discarding the other Ultra Ball and the escape rope. So got to be feeling like he can get himself back into the active with this Dialga, as it's only going to be 2 more turns. So if there's no knockout this turn, Xander has no way to win.
Yeah, he needs to find a scoop up net here. He at least needs to put damage in play, right? Let's not forget he's got that Banette play lined up. So even if he just throws damage into play this turn and then can find some Star Chronos play with Banette and take an extra KO. We do know now time has been called. Xander will be turn 0. So even though time has been called, the game is not quite over yet. You get +3 turns. So Xander will be turn 0. Isaiah will be turn 1. Xander turn 2. And then Isaiah will get the final turn with turn 3.
Yeah, so turn 2 is where you make the Star Chronos play.
Yes. Wait, it doesn't quite work like that. No, you don't get to, like, skip past.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a weird interaction. But for now, we'll just see that Metal Saucer come down, grabbing 2 energies, 2 Metal Saucers, getting 2 energies out of the discard pile, and it looks like Crobat's Dark Asset gearing up, ready to go.
Well, the Star Chronos has taken another turn.
Right.
So it's not a play. You're not taking away the turn from the player.
Yes.
It's like turn 2.5.
Sure.
But yes, this is a long way to go. I think both trainers are trying to figure out their end game here as they really dig into it. Because how do you make sure you don't throw away a game that's so close and you've both played a beautiful game 1 in, or a win 1 in?
Right. Thinking through things here, it looks like it is over to Isaiah here.
Yep. Well, this Dialga V-Star has been nicely set up. Those Metal Saucers are there, but it's not quite enough, I do not think. So yeah, Metal Saucer being able to get this powered up for later, potentially. It's been absolutely huge, and it looks like, they've figured it out.
Yeah, it looks like it's just going to be a tie. These players have figured it out. No one's going to come out the victor in this one, which is definitely unfortunate. I really would have loved to have seen how that final one would have played out. But unfortunately, looks like a tie will be had. These players may be looking at the results of what would have happened, who could have potentially gotten there.
Well, if Isaiah has no way to get around the Mew, even in 2 turns, he's not going to be able to take all 4 prizes. So if he has no way around the Mew, for him, that's done. If Xander doesn't have, Xander has to, even with a double turn, isn't going to be able to get 6 prizes taken. So both trainers establishing exactly where they were in the board state and just saving a few turns of time and conceding to a tie. And between 2 friends, 2 players who work closely together, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, 301, still very solid. I know both of these players really would have loved to have come out with a win. But really cool to see Xander doing well with a deck that I know he's worked incredibly hard on. He played this deck at the North American International Championships. He played it at the World Championships. Didn't have the best finish there, but he knows that this deck has what it takes. He knows that it's good, and he's just here to prove it.
Yeah, I've spoken to him a couple of events about it. He's so proud of it. He always wants to talk about it. I know some of his friends who play it with, it's not with him, but test him with him for it. Are getting a little bit frustrated playing against it because it does have some turns where you just go absolutely crazy.
Absolutely. What a wild game. Really would have loved to have seen a winner come out of that one. I do think that I would have to give the edge in Game 3 there to Isaiah. It definitely still could have gone either way because it's just so unpredictable exactly what Xander's got cooked up. So many different ways to make Timeless, Star Chronos work. Good old Timeless from the Dialga GX.
I was going to say, you're a few sets back there, Chip.
Yes.
I remember playing with that one. That was a good one. I'm glad we got to see the Banette play. Let's be honest. The Banette play is like the hype moment
of the day so far,
where you put the damage down with the Star Chronos, you then bounce it to the back, then you get the knockout. It's cool when you take prizes in the middle of the turn.